Hello everyone. Welcome back to Pixel Village and I'm Radhakrishnan. Out of the 58 videos that we have done so far, the video that got us maximum viewership is the ones on mobile phone photography. Well, from the comments that we've been receiving, what we understood was that the videos have really helped people to improve their mobile phone photography. Many of them have even, I know, that have upgraded themselves to DSLRs and mirrorless cameras. So here we are with another mobile phone video. Well, this time it's the latest OPPO Reno. This phone, as you know, is a feature-packed phone. In Pixel Village, we believe that it is not exactly the camera. Of course, camera has its own space and place. It's the photographer who's going to make that difference because he's the one who's going to make those decisions. In the previous videos, we talked about various guidelines in helping you to create or helping you to arrive upon a good creative decision every time. In this video too, we're going to look at 5 such guidelines using which you can improve your mobile phone photography. In fact, any kind of photography. So without any delay, let's get straight into the shoot. We have managed to get our favorite models again for this particular video. Remember Aditi and Aishwarya from our previous videos? Well, Aditi is now moved big league. She is in Amazon Prime Video. Which one is that?
Made in Heaven.
Made in Heaven. If you have not seen it, watch it. And she's a little busy in her studies, so you will see her in big screen very soon. Anyway, let's get into this shot now. Let me set them up and come back and explain to you how we're going to explain to you the first guideline. So first thing first, activate the camera, activate the grid, and clean the lenses. Okay, very important before you actually start the shoot. Now, in our Shoot Like a Pro 1, we talked about the rule of third. Okay, let's compose this shot in rule of third. Okay, so I'm going to compose it. I've composed it as rule of third. Now, as you can see, let me take a shot. In this shot, they are on the left side of my camera and they are looking outwards, okay? And 2/3 of the frame on the right side is actually empty, which is actually the inside of the frame. So this frame will look better if the subject look inwards into the frame instead of looking outwards into my rule of third, okay? So instead of this, if I compose them like this, the shot is likely to look better. The next one that we're going to attempt is called the left to right rule. Now, your eye, when you look at an image, travels naturally from the left side of the frame to the right side of the frame. So, when you frame your subjects, make sure that your subject that you're focusing on is on the left side of the frame and preferably on the rule of third. Okay, so it's a combination. Now let's try and see how it works. Okay, 2 positions. Can you sit on that cycle? Yeah. Very nice. Okay, stay there or look into the camera, and that's my shot. Now you can go there, turn inwards. You can go there, turn inwards like that. So as you can see, what I have done is just I swapped their positions. So from the right side of the frame, I brought my subject to the left side of the frame. And let's see what happens. Okay, ready? And smile. Okay. Now, let's move to the next location and show you another important guidelines. Okay, let's move there. So what we're going to attempt now is to take a simple portrait of Aishwarya and Aditi. They've had enough of cycling, they've come down, sat here. I'm going to take some picture here. The most obvious or easiest way to shoot is just to make them sit down like this, take your camera and take a shot, right? Like that. So that's one way of shooting. The other way is to slightly move things around a bit and make this shot look a little more interesting, okay? Interesting by creating depth in the picture. Now this is very flat. The kind of image that we got is like simple, straightforward and flat. But if you create depth, I'll show you what it means. The image will become a little more interesting. Let's see how we can do it. It requires a little bit of thinking, moving things around so that we get the desired effect. Let's see how it's done. So what I'm going to do is to move away and use the zoom lens. Remember, this phone got a 10x zoom, a hybrid zoom. What is hybrid? We'll see later, but let's use the zoom and take that shot and see how it's going to help. All right, I'm going to keep these flowers in the foreground and then shoot them. And I'm going to use the zoom facility in the camera. Okay, so I'm here. So I'm going to use these flowers in the foreground in such a way that it creates an element between my subject and the camera. And that'll create a sense of depth. You will see what I mean. So take a look at it. So similar situation. I can take this shot standing here just like this, or include this low hanging branches and the leaves in my frame, and that'll guide my eye towards them and that'll create that depth that I was talking about. So I can go like this and take a shot like this. Nice. So we handled depth. First one was looking inwards into the frame. Second was left to right. And third was creating depth. Now we go and see the fourth one. You may have seen lots of interesting candid pictures posted on the internet, in Insta and Facebook and all over the place, shot on mobile phones. There are times when you are there with the phone when that magic happened. But there are times when you see an interesting frame, you can stay there till the magic happens there. So you need to do a little bit of pre-visualizing, okay? Maybe a little advanced for a mobile phone photographer. But now here in this case, I have seen this steps and this corridor, okay? And it creates a nice graphical, frame. Now I'm hoping in my head that someone would walk down the steps and someone will walk across my frame simultaneously. Now the only way to get that shot is to wait and have that patience. So patience here is the name of the game. So let's see. So pre-visualize, frame your shot, stay there till that action happens. Let's see how it happens. Now in this case, I'm going to since because due to lack of time, I'm going to enact it here. I'm going to give them instructions, and they're going to do that action for me. Take a look at it. In real life, the best thing to do is to frame your shot, pray hard, and wait for that situation to happen. But in this case, we have our models, and they're going to do it for us. Let's see how it happens. Ready? And you look straight ahead, you're looking that way and happy. Okay, ready? This is nice. Okay, so I think I got this shot. And as you can see, the timing was perfect. Well, so we have the fourth shot. Let's move into the fifth one. It's the most simplest but the most effective one. Let's go and do that. Come. When we shoot portraits, especially single portraits, try to keep the background very simple. Okay, now here, visibly very clean, interesting backdrop is what I have here. But the picture shot in front of that need not be as interesting. Let's take a look at it. I'm going to shoot Aishwarya here. Stand in front. For me, the background was very interesting, okay? Now let's see how this is going to look like. So instead of that busy backdrop, we found this simple plain backdrop. Very nice soft light falling on Aishwarya's face. And let's see how this is going to turn out. Let's quickly see the zoom capability of OPPO Reno. This is known for its zooming capability. Now we have our model in place, and just make sure that the phone is firmly placed somewhere. Probably use a selfie stick, get a support of a good selfie stick, and firmly keep it on the ground. Now that's what I have done. Now this is the 1x zoom, as you can see from the screen. Let me take a shot. I'm not even touching the camera. I'm using a Bluetooth trigger into the camera. All right, that's the one. Now let me take the 2x zoom. Let me confirm the focus again. That's it. And this is the 6x zoom. Let me reposition the camera. And now let's look for the 10x. Okay, and if I touch again, that's the extreme wide, super wide. So you can see the distance between, our camera right here and our subject right there. Now you have seen the whole gamut of possibilities using the Reno hybrid zoom. And finally, no shoots come to an end without a selfie. There is one more reason why we should shoot a selfie with this phone, because this phone has an interesting selfie camera, a 16 megapixel shark fin camera. It's a design feature, very interesting. Lots of technical things have been written about that particular design, its actuations and all that. Well, for us, a selfie is a selfie. And I'm not good at it, but nevertheless, we're going to attempt one. I'm going to use a Sirui selfie stick. It's a TSH01WX. Simple selfie stick with a remote trigger. Okay, ready? Let's recap. First, we saw the rule of spaces. We saw how important it is for the subject to be looking inwards into the frame rather than looking away from the frame. Then we saw the left to right rule. Basically, it means that you have to position your subject in such a way that your subject on which you are focusing should be preferably on the left side of the frame, so that your eyes start moving from that subject to the remaining portion of the frame. Then we saw how important it is to create depth by adding more elements in the front or in the back. In this particular example that we shot, we added elements in the front, meaning between the subject and the camera, to create a sense of depth. Then we saw how important patience is for a photographer. You pre-visualize the shot, set your frame, and wait for that magic to happen within the frame. Then we realized that you don't need to really have very complicated backgrounds to create an interesting portrait. You can have it with very simple, uncomplicated background, and your subject gets full attention. Well, of course, then we did the mandatory selfie too with the OPPO Reno. And if you are a mobile phone photography lover, and if you want to learn more, or if you are a photography lover and want to learn more about photography in general, yes, at pixelvillage.com we have amazing classes. We have put together some of the finest mentors and photographers in the country, and we have classes for you which you can buy at a very nominal amount and watch it for an unlimited period of time. And it's available in multiple languages too. And of course, we'll be back soon with another interesting video on photography, mobile or otherwise. Bye for now.